Now we've completed review of the pre-billing processes for implicit and explicit processing. Now we're going to transfer our brains and go over the post-billing processes for implicit and explicit processing. Now remember, on post-billing acceptance, this is post-billing. It's after invoicing. So the removal event is customer acceptance. Again, I'll go through the two processes, but they're identical except for how the acceptance is recorded, implicitly or explicitly. So again, after we come out of the ship confirm process, our workflow line status will transition into a pending post-billing acceptance status. And because we're accepting after we bill, post-billing, this means that our invoice is generated in AR, just like a normal invoice, but your revenue is actually held in an unearned revenue account until the acceptance is completed. So that's deferred. So only the revenue recognition is deferred, again, on the post-billing side. In our first example, we're going to go over the implicit. So again, implicit is always programmatic. It's going to go out and check for an expiration date value. Once it actually passes an expiration date, it's going to grab that subset of data and pass it through and send it through the revenue contingency analyzer and have the revenue assignments updated. From there, the line status would get changed to closed, and then once the revenue is updated, the monies that were in the unearned revenue account, they'll actually get reversed and then applied to the appropriate revenue account assignment. The thing to be aware of with your dates on the post-billing side is that your acceptance date, whether it's implicitly or explicitly performed, is used as the GL date for the revenue recognition. So that determines on all your reporting the date you recognize that revenue is when the acceptance was completed. Now we're going to flip our hats and go over the post-billing explicit process. And again, it's identical to the implicit except for how the recording of the acceptance is performed. We come out of ship confirm and our workflow line status gets updated to pending post-billing acceptance just like before. It's post-billing, so our invoice is generated in AR and only the revenue recognition is deferred. Our revenue monies are held in the unearned revenue account until the acceptance is completed. When we run the explicit acceptance process, we can either do it automatically via the order import or process orders API or manually via the OIP, the order information portal. Once that is recorded through either method, the line would transition to closed, just like before, and then once it goes from closed, your revenue gets reslotted. So the funds that were in the unearned revenue account would get reversed out, and then those monies would actually get allocated to the appropriate revenue account. Again, just like with the implicit processing, your acceptance date for post-billing is the GL date. That's what is reviewed in all your reporting for your revenue recognition. Here's some screenshots, and we'll transition into the workflow view as well of the post-billing acceptance process for explicit. You'll notice, just like before ship confirm, we are in an awaiting shipping status. Standard workflow process, that's no different than before. Here is the customer acceptance information on the Others tab of the sales order line. Remember, these are additional fields that can be added via the folder tools to the Others tab of the sales order lines region on the quick sales or the standard sales order forms. This shows me that my customer acceptance name, CA name, is XXX pre-bill implicit. So I know that this is not going to invoice or recognize revenue until I implicitly accept it programmatically. I don't have a customer acceptance date, which means it has not been done yet. For whatever reason, maybe it hasn't expired, maybe there was an error in the transaction, but it has not been accepted yet. My expire event, customer acceptance expire event, is ship confirm date. It's saying, okay, your customer acceptance expiration days is 1. So 1 day after my ship confirm date, if the implicit acceptance request set is run, this should automatically insert my customer acceptance date and send it off to complete invoicing and revenue recognition. If we look at the other status for post-billing explicit, you'll see, again, if I have any assignment rules or any information that would have defaulted in via the AR API being called from order management, That stuff defaults in on the Others tab in the acceptance columns that are added to the folder by the user or sysadmin if you use system default folders for your users. If we're looking at the workflow view for post-billing, again, remember, post-billing is after billing, after invoicing. So we're going further in workflow than we were on pre-billing. So we are being held, our process is being held at close line, which is the top screen. If we zoom into that workflow block, we'll see on the bottom screen that our workflow is being held at close line pending acceptance. So once it's accepted or rejected, it would go out of the close line block and go through and process our line and close it just like normal.